drafted a script a little over 2 years ago for a video called The Blood, Sweat, and Tears of a 4-Year-Old Girl. It told a story that started with 4-year-old Arthi dancing in front of the TV and ended with 20-year-old Arthi, give or take a year, coming home from a competition with her dance team, NYU Diligi, with a couple $100 and a trophy. Dancing was the first thing I ever loved to do before I was old enough to play violin or write or do taekwondo. I wanted to tell 4-year-old Arthi the story of what that turns into, from not being allowed to take dance lessons growing up, to joining Diligi in college, to the physical therapy, breakdowns, and sleepless nights it took to get my team and me stage ready, to the pride and misery of being my team's captain, to the triumph of finally winning. The reason I never made that video is because Diligi never won a competition. We never even placed second or third. There have been times when we've deserved it, most poignantly last week at my last ever competition on the team, but I think saying that is just avoiding one truth with another. 2 years ago, my team didn't place at another last competition of the season that we thought we should have, and on the train home, I kept thinking, what is the silver lining to our disappointment? When we got back to the city, we all went to our then captain's apartment and sleepily drank and played games and just enjoyed each other's company, and I thought, that's the silver lining. But that was 2 years ago with a different team and 2 seasons of chances left. I believe in silver linings, but I don't believe in going through life experiencing as few negative emotions as possible. So I'm not going to say that I joined the Ligi to dance and I loved it, or that we've grown so much together and because of each other even if we didn't win, or that Diligi will eventually inevitably win a competition and I will have been a part of making that happen, even though all of that's true. Instead, I'm going to say that the blood, sweat, and tears of that video script that I wrote for 4-year-old Arthi didn't lead to success. I failed. My team failed. And I'm not used to failing, so I want to sit with that for a while. The obvious question is, was it worth it? If I had known from the beginning that we weren't going to win, would I have bothered with the stress of competing and captaining? But that's a flawed question. Like, the week of our last competition of this year's season, my co-captain and I made some last-minute changes to our routine, negating about a week's worth of practice. I thought, there's no way we're going to win now, so is there really a point to practicing this hard? But I didn't say that out loud, and within a few days we had more than made up that lost practice time, and when we competed that weekend, almost everyone in the auditorium thought we deserved to win. There is no knowing ahead of time what you're capable of, so the question isn't about going back. It's about whether the means are enough without the end. Were all the blood, sweat, and tears worth it without the win? Well, as suggested by the fact that I was ready to pull back on practice as soon as it seemed like we weren't good enough to place, being on Diligi was really hard, and stressful, and tiring, and at times utterly demoralizing. There were several times when I didn't want to do it anymore, and right now I'm way glad it's over. But I can't imagine not having done it. I remember explaining to someone once how intense competition season is, and he said, I don't think I've ever been that passionate about everything, and I responded, I think I'm that passionate about everything. I got so much joy and pride out of being a part of and then captaining my team, and I learned so much. I'm so glad I did it. That's not a silver lining, because I would have learned just as much if we had won, and I would much rather have won. But if we'd won, the story would be, and it was all worth it! Hard work pays off, and greatness is never easy. Instead, the story is this. 4-year-old Arthi, you are lucky you are so crazy about dance, because otherwise you never would have gone through this much crap and come out the other end happy with yourself. Ends never justify means, and occasional failure is inevitable, so make sure you're fulfilled by what you're doing every second in case you don't get where you think you're going. And actually, all 4-year-old Arthi knows is that she loves to dance, so if this story is for her, maybe this is the better version. No, it would have been better in every way to have placed. At least I still love to dance.